Today on Capechi's Corner, we're going to look at parallelograms. We're going to look at our second day of parallelograms today. We learned the basics the other day, so now we're going to move forward with some more algebra. Okay, so in number 1, we have AH, which is one of our diagonals. It has a value of 36. Now, I know that diagonals bisect each other, so that makes this side equal to 18 and this side is equal to 18. So I can come up with two equations, 2x plus 4y is equal to 18. And I have 4x minus y is equal to 18. Now, if you want to pause this video and see if you can try it by yourself, you are certainly welcome to do that. Now, we have a linear system, so we can either use substitution or elimination. I like to use elimination. I'm going to multiply that by 4, so my goal is to get that a negative 4, which is the opposite of that coefficient as 4. So I have 2x plus 4y is equal to 18. That gives me 16x minus 4y is equal to 72. Okay, combine what I have, and that gives me 18x is equal to 90. So x is equal to 5. Now I'm going to substitute that back in. I'll substitute it back into my second equation. I have 4 times 5 minus y is equal to 18. So 20 minus y is equal to 18, and negative y is equal to negative 2. So y is equal to positive 2. Now, what I can do also on all these is to check it. So if I were to substitute this back in, I know that 2x plus 4y is equal to 18. So I have 2 times 5 plus 4 times 2. I should get 18, which you can see that that will work. I can also check it in my other equation. So I have 4 times x, which is 5, minus y, which is 2, is equal to 18, so now I'm all set. So I do know that I have both of these values for x and y correct. All right, let's look at number 2. This time in the parallelogram, I'm looking at opposite sides are congruent. So I have the equation 3x minus 5y is equal to 10, and then x minus 12 is equal to negative 7y. Okay, so the first equation is fine. It's in standard form. My second equation, I need to get in standard form, so I'm going to bring that negative 7y to the left, and that becomes positive 7y. And I'm going to move this negative 12 to the other side, which would give it positive 12. Again, you can use substitution or elimination. I'm going to multiply this by negative 3. So that gives me 3x minus 5y is equal to 10. And then I have negative 3x minus 21y is equal to negative 36. Combine what I have, and I get negative 26y is equal to negative 26, so y is equal to 1. I can substitute it back in, and I have that, let's do the first one. So I have 3 times x minus 5 times 1 is equal to 10. So I have 3x minus 5 is equal to 10. 3x is equal to 15, so x is equal to 5. So there's my two values for x and y. Now, again, if you want to substitute them back in to double check your work, it's easy enough to do. All right, let's go on to number 3. So again, this time I have a combination. I have diagonals that bisect each other. So I know 4x minus 10, I know that is going to be equal to 2y because they're going to be equal, right? They're bisected. And I also have my opposite sides are congruent. So I have 2x minus 1 is equal to 3y. I'm going to put them both in standard form. So I have 4x minus 2y is equal to positive 10. And then 2x minus 3y is equal to positive 1. Now I'm going to multiply the second equation by negative 2. So that gives me 4x minus 2y is equal to 10. And I have negative 4x plus 6y is equal to negative 2, which gives me positive 4y is equal to 8, so y is equal to 2. I'll substitute that into either equation. I'll go back to my original of the second one. I have 2x minus 1 is equal to 3 times 2. So I have 2x minus 1 is equal to 6. 2x is equal to 7. So x is equal to 3.5. Okay, moving on, let's take a look at number 4. Now this time it looks like I'm dealing with angles. So let's see, HME. So this angle right here is x squared plus 3x. ATE, so this angle right here is negative 9x plus 64. Now I'm going to stop right there and let's take a look at that. They are alternate interior angles. So that gives me x squared plus 3x is equal to negative 9x plus 64, right? They're equal. So that I'm going to set that equal to each other. And I also have measure of angle AME. AME is equal to 5x. And then the last thing they're asking us is to find the measure of angle MAT. So this angle right here. Okay. Now, in order to do that, I only have one variable here. I'm not looking at two variables, so I don't need to use a system. So I'm just going to go with what I started with, this angle and this angle, because we have parallelograms. They are alternate interior angle. They're set equal to each other. Now, anytime I have the second power or higher in algebra, I want to bring everything to one side and see if I can factor it. So I'm going to add 9x to both sides. And I have x squared plus 12x minus 64 is equal to 0. So now I need factors of 64 that when I subtract, I'm going to get to 12, right? I have plus and a minus because that's a minus. Factors of 64, 16 times 4. The higher factor is going to go with this sign right there. So that gives me 16 and that gives me 4. Now, because of the zero product property, this times this binomial is going to equal 0. So one of them has to be equal to 0. So if x is equal to negative 16 and x is equal to positive 4. Now, if this were just a normal algebra problem, they would be the two answers. But because we're working with geometry, anytime you're dealing with sides or angles, they have to be positive. So let's kind of keep going with this problem and see what happens. Okay, so I know that angle AME is 5x. I know that I can't have 5 times a negative number. That would make that angle negative, so that's not going to work. Okay, now they want me to find this total angle right here, measure of angle MAT. Now, if you remember, this angle here, right, measure of angle HMA, that big angle, plus this angle right here, MAT, is going to equal to 180. Okay, so we have to be careful with that. So if I substitute 4 in, let me erase some of these purple marks. If I substitute 4 in here, this measure of this angle is going to be 20. If I substitute 4 in there, I get 4 squared, which is 16, right? Let's do this down here. So I have x squared plus 3x, 4 squared plus 3 times 4. 4 squared is 16. 16 plus 12 gives me 28. And when I'm trying to find that entire angle, right, I'm going to get 180. And I'm going to subtract 20, and subtract 28. And in the end, that gives me 132. So the measure of angle MAT, and the measure of angle MAT is equal to 132. Okay, let's look at our last one here. I have the measure of angle MHT. This whole angle here is going to be x squared. And the measure of angle TAM, this whole angle here, is going to be negative x plus 72. Now, these are opposite angles. So opposite angles are congruent. Now they're asking us to find the measure of angle AMH. This right here, once I'm done, AMH. Okay, so I have x squared plus x minus 72 is equal to 0. Remember we said bring everything to one side when it's the x squared or higher. Try to factor it. So when I factor this, I have an x and a plus and a minus, right? Because the signs are opposite because of that negative number there. Factors of 72, 9 and 8, that when I subtract, I get 1. The 9 is the higher factor. That's a plus. That's going to go there. My 8 goes here, and I have x plus 9 is equal to 0. X minus 8 is equal to 0. So x is either equal to negative 9, and x is equal to positive 8. Now, we do have a negative number there, so we have to just be careful. But let's substitute that in and see what happens. Anything squared is going to be positive, so that doesn't matter. But what happens to the measure of angle MAT? I'm going to have minus a -9 plus 72. So that is fine, actually. That gives me 9 plus 72, which is 81. So that's actually okay. So that will work. So actually, both of these values will be okay. So to find x, I have -9 and 8. Now they're asking us for the measure of angle AMH. Okay, so we know that this angle is probably the easiest one to deal with because it's just one step. So we know that this angle has to be either -9 squared is 81, and if I use 8, then it's 64. So the measure of angle AMH is going to be 180 minus those values. So it's either going to be 99 or the measure of angle AMH is equal to 116. Okay, so there's your final answer there. All right, great job today. Thanks so much for stopping by.